Hello, my name is Craig Mackey, and this video is a step-by-step guide to the first lab for F21 MA 3D Modeling and Animation at Heriot-Watt University. The first thing we need to do is open Adobe Flash Builder. There's two ways to do this. The first way is to open the Start menu and simply start typing in Flash Builder, and you'll see it appears there. Alternately, you can go All Programs, scroll down to Adobe Master Collection, and then select Adobe Flash Builder. Don't worry if the numbers listed on the Start menu aren't the same. Upon opening Adobe Flash Builder, you're presented with the following screen. Flash Builder is a very flexible interface and is simple to move the different panels around. If you accidentally move or close a panel, you can easily reset your interface back to defaults by going Window and Reset Perspective. Hopefully your interface should look similar to the way it does in the video, maybe omitting this panel. Next thing we need to do is start a new project. So we go File, New, Flex Project. The project name you want to type in is 2MXML buttons. Hit Finish. And then Flash Builder will build you a default Flex project. In the top left panel, we have the Package Explorer for our project. This is the default directory structure with our XML file, 2XML buttons within the src in the default package. In the editor panel, we can see the source code for our MXML file. Everything we want to do with Flash Builder, we can do by typing in source code. However, Flash Builder also has a design interface which allows you to drag and drop components into your Flex project. To get to this, we simply select Design in the editor panel, and you'll see that we've now got a blank screen, but with a few additional panels. To the bottom left, we have our outline and our components. To our top left, we have our States panel. Properties and appearance are located in the bottom right, and finally below we have our Problems pane. If anything appears in here, you know you're going to have problems when you come to execute your Flex project. Now back to the project, and we wish to add two buttons and a label. The easiest way to do this is to drag and drop two buttons and a label from the Components panel into our design editor. Now we need to modify each of these three components. If I click on the first button, you'll see that the Properties panel has changed and now has a host of options. All we wish to do at the moment is change the text of the button to button 1. To do this, we'll select the label field. We simply change that to button 1. And you'll see that change reflected in the editor. We do something similar with the second button and name that button 2. Now with the label, we don't wish to change the text of the label, but we wish to change the ID. And the ID you want to change it to is My Text field. This will allow us to refer to the label within our code. Now, we've only got two buttons on the label. We want the buttons to have an effect on the label. To this, we need to add behaviors to each of the buttons. If you select button 1 again, and this time click on the onClick field, you will want to type in the following. My text field, which refers to the label, dot text, then equals apostrophe, button 1 pressed, and then another apostrophe. We want to do something very similar with button 2. So again, it's my text field, dot text, equals apostrophe, button 2 pressed, apostrophe. Time to see if everything's working. We press Ctrl and F11, or alternately we click on this green play button up here. We save our file, and this should launch our internet browser. Now we see we have our two buttons on our label. We click on the first button, the text of the label changes, and we click on the second button, likewise the text of the label changes. Now closing the browser and back to the editor, now that we've added some components using the design editor, it's time to add components from source code. If we click on the source button at the top of our editor, we can now see the implementation of our two buttons and of our label. What we want to do is add a third button. So we'll add a line of code. What we're typing in here is S button, setting our X and Y coordinates. Label this button will be button 3. And then we close off that tag. If we should jump quickly back to design, you now see we have our third button. Now we're about to introduce accent script. To do this, we want to start just below the FX declarations and we wish to open an fx script tag. We do that by typing in fx script close tag, and we have these extra lines of code automatically generated for us, and in between here we're going to add in our function. We want to create a function that triggers when you click on the third button. Specifically, we want an alert to pop up. To do this, we first wish to import the mx.controls.alert class, so we can call an alert. Next, we need to create a private function, and we'll call this on button 3 click, all as one word. This has one argument, an event code E, and we finish this off by typing in :void. Next, we want to show an alert when this function is called, so we type in alert.show, put in the body of the alert, and then we wish to put in the title of the alert. Now our function is done. However, we aren't calling our function yet, so we need to go back to the third button. I wish to change the click to on button 3 click, giving that the event. Now if we hit Control and F11, again save our files, we can now see our 3 buttons in action. Button 1, button 2, and button 3.